Welcome to Alchemist Tribune Deep Dives, hosted by the Academic Renegade. We're here to share insights and analysis from the latest articles in the Alchemist Tribune. Each week, we explore how doctorate holders are transforming academic expertise into entrepreneurial success. Let's dive in.
I'm thrilled to discuss today's article, Harnessing the Power of Technology, Scaling Academic Knowledge for All. This piece explores how technology has revolutionized the way academic knowledge is shared and consumed, which is something I find particularly compelling in our current digital landscape.
Absolutely. What struck me immediately was the vivid contrast the article opens with, that image of a researcher in a dusty library, versus the modern reality where knowledge can be shared globally with just a few clicks. It perfectly encapsulates the transformation we've seen in academic knowledge dissemination.
That contrast really sets the stage for understanding just how profound this shift has been. Historically, knowledge was a privilege, confined to the walls of libraries and universities. Scholars worked in relative isolation, and their research rarely reached beyond their immediate academic circles. It's fascinating to consider how limited the impact of groundbreaking work must have been in the pre-digital era.
Yes, and the article articulates this historical context quite effectively. Before the internet, even if you produced groundbreaking research, your audience was inherently limited by physical and geographical constraints. Academic journals were primarily accessible to those affiliated with institutions that could afford expensive subscriptions. This created significant disparities in information access.
What I find most compelling is how the internet fundamentally disrupted this paradigm. Suddenly, researchers weren't confined to their institutions. They could collaborate with peers worldwide and exchange ideas in real time. This shift didn't just incrementally improve knowledge sharing, it transformed it entirely.
The rise of open access journals has been particularly revolutionary in this context. For our listeners who might not be familiar, open access journals allow researchers to publish their work without paywalls, making cutting-edge research available to anyone with an internet connection. This democratization of knowledge is perhaps one of the most significant academic developments of our century.
Absolutely. And it's worth emphasizing that these aren't just esoteric changes within academia. They have real-world implications. When research is more accessible, it can inform policy decisions, drive innovation, and address global challenges more effectively. The article mentions collaborative projects that bring together scholars from different disciplines to tackle complex issues, which simply wouldn't have been possible at this scale in the pre-digital era.
That interdisciplinary approach is critical. When we silo knowledge within specific academic departments or institutions, we miss opportunities for innovation that often emerges at the intersection of disciplines. Digital repositories and academic social networks like ResearchGate and academia.edu have been transformative in creating those connections across fields.
Speaking of digital repositories, I'd love to highlight their significance. These platforms serve as centralized locations where researchers can upload and share their work, creating permanent, searchable archives that preserve knowledge for future generations. They're particularly valuable for preserving and making accessible research that might otherwise be lost or difficult to find.
The article also emphasizes the importance of transparency in this new research landscape. As knowledge becomes more accessible, researchers must ensure their methods and findings are clear and reproducible. Open science initiatives promote this transparency, building trust with both the public and other scholars.
That's a crucial point. With the democratization of knowledge comes the responsibility to ensure its quality and trustworthiness. Which brings us to another key theme in the article, the challenge of navigating information overload.
Yes, that's the flip side of greater accessibility, isn't it? When anyone can publish and share information widely, how do we discern what's credible? The article rightly emphasizes the importance of critical thinking skills and information literacy in this context.
Precisely. The statistics mentioned in the article are staggering. The average person today is exposed to more information in a single day than someone in the 18th century would encounter in a lifetime. That volume of information can lead to what the article terms academic burnout, where people feel overwhelmed and unsure of what to trust.
This is where critical thinking becomes essential. It's not just about having information. It's about knowing how to analyze and evaluate it. Can you identify biases in sources? Can you distinguish between fact and opinion? These skills are crucial in our information-rich environment.
And information literacy, the ability to locate, evaluate, and use information effectively, is equally important. I think there's a misconception that digital natives automatically possess these skills, but research suggests otherwise. We need strong information literacy programs to help people navigate this complex landscape.
The article also discusses strategies for engaging diverse audiences, which I think is particularly relevant for academics looking to broaden the impact of their work. The section on leveraging storytelling techniques really resonated with me.
Yes, that was insightful. Rather than simply presenting data, weaving personal narratives into research can make complex ideas more relatable and memorable. The quote from Robert McKee captures it perfectly. Storytelling is the most powerful way to put ideas into the world today.
Multimedia formats also play a crucial role in engagement. Traditional academic papers serve an important purpose, but interactive webinars, engaging videos, and infographics can transform presentations and reach audiences with different learning styles. Visual learners benefit from graphics, while auditory learners engage with videos.
What I particularly appreciated was the emphasis on feedback mechanisms. Knowledge dissemination isn't a one-way street. By actively seeking audience input through surveys or discussion boards, researchers can refine their messaging and create a sense of community around their work.
That's a valuable point. Feedback serves as a compass, guiding researchers toward more effective communication. When audiences feel their opinions matter, they're more likely to engage deeply with the content and share it with others.
Let's shift to discussing the future prospects that the article outlines, particularly around technology and ethical considerations. The integration of AI and personalized learning presents fascinating possibilities.
Indeed, the concept of AI analysing individual learning styles and adapting resources accordingly has tremendous potential. Imagine educational environments where every student receives a tailored learning experience based on their unique needs and preferences.
However, the article rightly raises important ethical considerations. How do we ensure these AI systems are free from bias? If the data used to train these algorithms reflects existing societal inequalities, we risk perpetuating or even amplifying those disparities.
That's a critical point. Transparency in how these algorithms work is essential, as is careful consideration of who might be excluded or disadvantaged by these technologies. The digital divide remains a significant challenge. Not everyone has equal access to digital resources, which could exacerbate existing inequalities.
Addressing inclusivity in academia is therefore paramount. While technology has the potential to reach broader audiences, we need to actively work to create diverse academic environments where all voices are valued and heard.
The article concludes with an important reminder that knowledge is a shared resource, and we all have a role to play in shaping the future of academia. By engaging with these issues thoughtfully, we can create a more inclusive and ethical academic community.
What I found most compelling about this article is how it balances optimism about technological possibilities with a clear-eyed view of the challenges we face. Yes, technology has revolutionized academic knowledge dissemination, but realizing its full potential requires addressing issues of critical thinking, information literacy, ethics, and inclusivity.
Absolutely. It's not enough to simply make information available. We need to ensure it's accessible, engaging, and trustworthy. And we need to be intentional about who benefits from these technological advances.
For our listeners who are doctorate holders exploring entrepreneurial paths, I think there are valuable insights here about communicating complex ideas to diverse audiences. The strategies outlined, storytelling, multimedia formats, feedback mechanisms, are directly applicable to building a brand and engaging with customers or clients.
That's an excellent point. Academic expertise is incredibly valuable in entrepreneurial contexts, but effectively translating that expertise for different audiences is an essential skill. The same principles that make academic knowledge more accessible can help entrepreneurs connect with their target markets.
The article also underscores the importance of ethical considerations in any knowledge-based venture. Transparency, inclusivity, and a commitment to quality aren't just academic values. They're good business practices that build trust and credibility.
As we wrap up our discussion, I'm curious, what do you see as the most significant challenge in scaling academic knowledge going forward?
For me, it's addressing information overload while maintaining quality. As the volume of information continues to grow exponentially, helping people develop the critical thinking skills to navigate this landscape becomes increasingly important. Without these skills, the democratization of knowledge could paradoxically lead to less informed decision-making.
That's an insightful observation. I would add that inclusivity remains a significant challenge. Despite tremendous progress in breaking down barriers to knowledge, we still see disparities in who contributes to and benefits from academic research. Technology alone won't solve these issues. We need intentional efforts to create more equitable systems.
Both excellent points. It seems that the future of academic knowledge dissemination will require balancing technological innovation with a deeply human approach, one that prioritizes critical thinking, ethical considerations, and inclusivity.
This has been a fascinating discussion of a thought-provoking article. As academics turned entrepreneurs, we're uniquely positioned to bridge these worlds, bringing scholarly rigor to entrepreneurial ventures while making complex knowledge more accessible and impactful.
Thanks for joining us on Alchemist Tribune Deep Dives. We're the Academic Renegade crew, reminding you that your doctorate is more than a degree. It's your launchpad to entrepreneurial success. For more insights, visit us at the Alchemist Tribune, where we're bridging the gap between academia and enterprise. Until next time, keep innovating.